This is Outdated, and welcome to Game Pass Passport. And in today's episode, we are not going to play a game at all. In our 55th episode, we're going to look back at episodes 1 through 54, and I'm going to review those games. I'm going to go back and remind you of what they were, and I'm going to give them a rating. We're going to introduce an actual set rating system. And so, sorry for the simplicity of this presentation. I tried to at least figure out the webcam and put my face in the corner or something for the first time, but that didn't quite work out. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get started by looking at the rating system. So I've decided to go with a 3-stage rating system, just 3 ratings, that's it. The best being buy it. This game is so good, even though you have it free on Game Pass already, buy it before it goes. It's a must in your collection. That can be for multiple reasons: amazing gameplay, a classic franchise that is consistently good, it's just a unique experience, it's, something like that. The next rating, and the one you would think would be the most common, play it. This game is good, fun, interesting, or a unique experience, and since you have free access to it, you should check it out. This is a positive rating, just not overwhelmingly positive, like buy it. You would think play it will be the most common one, but I do have one more rating: skip it. This game is just not fun, or it doesn't run well, or it's just bad for a multitude of reasons. Considering we are playing games for free, if it gets a skip it rating, that's pretty bad. Alright, so what we're going to do is understand that, one, any reviewing, any kind of process like this is going to be subjective. This is my opinion. This is where I stand on it. If you disagree, that is perfectly cool. Put it in the comments. Let's chat about it, right? Things may have improved since I looked at it last time, especially for some of the games that were really buggy. So I would love to know that. I could do a let's go back and check it again if it's on Game Pass still, kind of a thing. So let's go ahead and get started from our very first episode, Yakuza Like a Dragon. All right, so I had not played very much of the Yakuza franchise, although I do have Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo and all that. That was just not one that jumped out to me, but I gave it a try because it was on Game Pass, which is kind of one of the great things about the service. In the end, I'm going to have to say with that one, play it. It was pretty fun. Is it something I'm going to play again in the future? No, it's not. But was it worth the price of my subscription, and did I have a good time? Absolutely. So, play it. So next game we're going to look at, Sea of Thieves. This one was the episodes 2 and 3. It was the one I played it with my youngest daughter. We were playing specifically the A Pirate's Life storyline, where Captain Jack Sparrow shows up and all that stuff. But this is for Sea of Thieves as a whole, which is actually a far more popular game than people realize it is. As far as actual active accounts and players, it's a lot of people. And what do I vote for this one? Sea of Thieves is a buy it, especially with all the work they've done and added to it over the years. When it first came out, it was as Game Pass, it would have been a play it. For buying it, it would have probably been a maybe not. It would have been really tight, and I would have leaned towards no. But now, it's definitely a buy it. The game has so much going on. As long as you don't mind dealing with other players being jerks, as long as you don't mind that, or you can just avoid them. It's a really, really fun game, especially with friends. The next game, Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. I really wanted to love this game. It's like a classic kind of dungeon crawl, 3D. You pick a character, and these characters are from the famous R.A. Salvador novels, like Drizzt Do'Urden and Wolfgar, people like that. I really, really, really wanted to love this game. I was looking forward to it. I mean, the name Dark Alliance has a great pedigree in gaming. Unfortunately, this game is a skip it. For me, in the video, it actually worked pretty well. I didn't have a whole lot of bugs like have been reported. But those bug reports can't be ignored, and I haven't seen that those have gotten fixed yet, so I'm going to have to say, in the trash, skip that one. The next one, Outriders. Outriders was a day one Game Pass game, and it's like a third-person shooter by People Can Fly. They made Gears of War Judgment, so basically the one not amazing Gears game. But this game I played for a good bit. It's a looter shooter, so think like Destiny, but third person with cover mechanics and all that stuff. And it's a very fun game. I'm going to have to say in this case it's a play it. Just get in there and play that thing. Have fun. It may be your thing, right? So we'll slip that into play. And next up is Limbo. Limbo is, it came out on the 360 back in the day. It was exclusive back then. Now it's on basically everything. Limbo is a beautiful side-scrolling black and white game. These people also went on to make Inside. Let's just say, if you know anything about the game, you're not going to be surprised. This is a buy it. This is absolutely a buy it. Limbo is an amazing, amazing experience. So next up, we're going to look at Cris Tales. Cris Tales is a play it. Cris Tales, the screen kind of separates out, so at different parts of the screen you see what it looks like in the past and in the future, and then in the middle where you're playing is in the present. It's unique, and that's why it's a play it. I myself enjoyed it somewhat, and so it's definitely a play it for me. So the next game, which was 2 episodes if I recall, 8 and 9, was The Ascent. It was a third-person twin-stick shooter. It's pretty hard, honestly, but it has like looter shooter elements and stuff like that. I think with The Ascent, I put that under the category of play it. I was hoping it would be a buy it. I really like the idea. I like the steampunk aesthetic, all that stuff, but it ends up being a play it, which is still a positive thing. So next up, Omno. Omno is an example of I just want to play something to relax and don't want a bunch of stress kind of a game. It's like exploration, puzzle solving, but you're just kind of chilling, and I have to say this is a play it. I enjoyed it immensely, but if you've got to have action in your game, it might not be for you, so play it, find out, move on from there. Okay, next up we are looking at Raji, an Ancient Epic. This one was gorgeous. It was a really good looking game. It's unique, it was different. I love the fact that it's exploring areas in games we really don't see that much, probably not since Prince of Persia, and we all know that didn't really get that right. I'm calling Raji a play it. I really enjoyed it. Not enough to go buy it, but it was a really, really good game, and it's worth it. Next up, Hades. Alright, Hades is by, I believe it's called Supergiant Games? Supermassive Games? Whatever. Any game they make is probably going to be a buy it. They made Bastion, which was an Xbox exclusive back in the 360 days. They made, oh god, I'm forgetting the name of it, but they've made like 4 games so far, I think, and they're all amazing. This is absolutely positively a buy it. Hades is a buy it. It's a roguelike, explores Greek mythology, amazing gameplay. There is nothing negative about this game. And you can see it won a lot of Game of the Years back in its day. Alright, next up, we are going to look at Microsoft Flight Simulator. This one is tricky because is it a quote-unquote traditional game? I'm judging it on what it's trying to accomplish, and we have to consider the fact that Microsoft Flight Simulator as a gaming franchise has been along longer than any of the current console companies that exist. I believe they predate even Nintendo. They definitely predate the PlayStation and the Xbox. Flight Simulator, I feel, is an absolute buy it, especially on console, because nothing like this that requires this much power has ever run on a console before. And it is an absolutely gorgeous game. Right? Now, again, this is one where it's very subjective. If you don't want to explore the world of what flying is like and turn the difficulty all the way up to actually learn how to fly an airplane, that might not be for you. But for me, this is a buy it. Next up, an absolute classic, Quake. Now, this was the recent re-release, and I love first-person shooters, especially old-school first-person shooters, like the original Doom, Wolfenstein 3D, and Quake. This is an absolute yes, 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 buy it. This is buy it right now. Play it. If you can survive long enough, play it, and you'll realize when first-person shooters were amazing and really, really, undeniably fantastic. This was that era. Nowadays, even the best ones, the most popular ones, aren't that good. But Quake is still just stunning. So here we go. Next up is 12 Minutes. Alright, so 12 Minutes was a really unique kind of time looping game and the whole idea of the time looping thing might turn some people off, but with the star power on this, James McAvoy, Daisy Ridley, Willem Dafoe, the acting is fantastic. It's a great game, but I gotta just give it a play it. I think that its genre is one that makes it really hard to say it's a buy it, right? And if this is your kind of thing, yeah, you're going to go get it anyway. But I mean, I think it's an absolute play it. So next up was Curse of the Dead Gods. Curse of the Dead Gods, honestly, was a lot like Hades. It kind of reminded me of Hades a good bit. Just, not quite to the same level of ridiculously awesomeness. And Curse of the Dead Gods is a play it for me. So let's look at the next game. We're just going to move on. Psychonauts 2. So this is made by Double Fine, who have an amazing track record of like some of the greatest games, especially platformers and adventure games ever. They're now an Xbox exclusive studio, but this game itself was actually multi-platform. So the next Double Fine game will probably be exclusive to Xbox and PC. Psychonauts 2 basically takes the classic original Psychonauts, which is a fantastic, great, wonderful game, and improves it on every possible level. This is a buy it for sure. Sorry, just go get this thing. Okay. Next up, the next game we're going to look at is Sable. And as you can tell by looking, it's a very unique art style. It's kind of like a third-person exploration game, a little bit of platforming, puzzle solving, that sort of thing. The art style is absolutely stunning. I mean, you're looking at this and thinking, is that just a painting or a picture? No, the entire game looks like that. Like, as far as like, the use of color is just amazing. I feel like even though it's pretty quick to play, this is a buy it. This is definitely a buy it because of its uniqueness, right? It's the kind of game you show off to somebody who's an art major or something. Okay, the next game we're going to look at is Breathedge, Breathedge, Survive in Outer Space. So this is a first-person survival game where you're in a ship that blows up and you're trying to survive by using your EV suit and going to parts of the ship that are still intact and like salvaging equipment. And I played this for a little bit. I tried to play it off camera as well. I'm sorry, but this is a skip it. This did not work for me. Normally those kind of games I like. This one I just didn't. And part of it was I do remember the controls were frustrating. Things were really like difficult to figure out how to do them. Nothing was made clear as to what I'm supposed to do, or more accurately, how I'm supposed to do it with my controller, which is kind of a bare minimum. And I mean, there's a lot of games like this I love. This just isn't it. This one did not work for me. So Breathedge gets a skip it. So next up is The Artful Escape, a side-scrolling platformer with a music theme. It's more of a rock opera kind of theme. This is really unique. It's also a really easy achievement machine if you need some achievements, and they're all pretty big. This is completely a buy it. It's inexpensive, it's gorgeous, its sound design is outstanding, and it's pretty fun. It's not challenging at all, but games don't all have to be, and this is coming from like a hardcore Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Bloodborne guy. So, The Artful Escape is a cha-ching buy it. Alright, next up is Surgeon Simulator 2. So Surgeon Simulator 2 is stunningly the sequel to Surgeon Simulator, and this is one of those games that when you play it, it's supposed to be frustrating a little bit. It's supposed to, the controls aren't supposed to work super well. It's supposed to part of the fun is the fact that you can't get it to do what you want it to do. That being said, there's a fine line between this is so annoying to play that it's funny, and this is so annoying to play I want to delete it. I'm in the deleted category. I feel like this is a skip it for me. A lot of the games like this, I enjoyed. This one just didn't work. Skip it. So the next game we're going to look at is Myst. Okay, so there was an original Myst on PC, had still images. You'd tell it where to go, and it would go to the next still image. This is now fully 3D and explorable. This is a piece of gaming history brought into the 21st century. This is absolutely a play it. This is absolutely a play it. And I was debating between play it and buy it. I'm going to stick with play it on this one. Alright, next game, Back 4 Blood. Left 4 Dead is an iconic game that has never, ever been equaled. And especially in the last 10 years or so, people are really trying hard to do so. They're trying hard to recapture that Left 4 Dead magic. And Back 4 Blood is by it's by Turtle Rock Studios. They gave us, why am I forgetting the name of it all of a sudden? Whatever. They gave us a asymmetrical game that I'm trying to remember the name of. You can't even play it anymore because the servers were dead. It was a disaster. Evolve. That was it. Evolve. And I personally enjoyed playing Evolve. It just got really old really fast. Back 4 Blood doesn't do that. Is it on the level of Left 4 Dead? No. Is it the closest thing you're going to get to Left 4 Dead right now? Absolutely. It's a buy. So the next game we're looking at is Into the Pit. It's a retro shooter, very much inspired by like Quake or Doom or Hexen, Heretic. It's using spells and magic instead of guns. You go to different areas, you unlock different abilities in town to do things for the next area. This was incredibly fun to play. I mean, like this, even going past my love of retro shooters or shooters in general, this had some serious fun factor. I'm totally giving this a buy it. It's also pretty expensive too, so that helps. So this is a buy it. Into the Pit is going into the collection. So next up, we're looking at Marvel Avengers, the famous, yeah, we'll go with infamous game by Square Enix, the game that everybody wanted to be wonderful. And honestly, the first-person campaign is great. Everything else is garbage. It's a skip it. Don't even bother. I'm just saying, don't. If you want a great Marvel game, I can point to some of them. Matter of fact, another one's going to show up on this list. This is not it. Next game we're going to look at is Visage. Okay, this scared the living bejesus out of me, I got to be honest with you. It's kind of PT-esque, I guess. And Visage, definitely for mature audiences. It does not hold your hand, but it is still intuitive enough that you don't feel completely lost. Visage is a play it for sure. It is worth the experience. Absolutely. Next game we're looking at, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the definitive edition. The original Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is an amazing, amazing game. I would say it is the moment that Grand Theft Auto became the juggernaut that it is. Unfortunately, this juggernaut sank. This was a steaming pile of poop. Skip it. Don't play it. Don't download it. Don't let this spawn of Satan even get on your hard drive. Just don't. It's garbage. Do not play it. Just do not play it. It's literally like playing it on your phone. Literally. Don't do it. Skip it. See ya. So next up, we're looking at Halo Infinite Multiplayer. Specifically Halo Infinite Multiplayer, which I actually looked at in 3 separate episodes. Halo Infinite Multiplayer is a little bit of cheating in this category because Halo Infinite Multiplayer, if you have Game Pass or not, is completely free. So it's a buy it because it's free. I mean, if you can buy it for $0, buy it for $0, right? And when it comes to multiplayer, there are a lot of complaints. There are a lot of people that are like, hey, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like the monetization, which has improved a lot. I don't like the matchmaking for the ranked, which they have improved, but there are still issues for sure. I don't like the connection issues. That's improved a lot too. But the gameplay is the best gameplay in a first-person shooter, period. Like, Call of Duty, you don't have a chance. Battlefield, I'm sorry. It's the best I have felt in my years of playing first-person shooters, which started with the very first-person shooter. It is so fun to play. All those other things are kind of secondary concerns, and there's quite a few of them, and they're fixing them a little at a time. But this is an absolute buy simply because the gameplay is so great, and it's free. So I'm just going to be honest, buy it. Now, this one's a bit of a cheat, honestly, because it is free. But I wonder how single player would fare, because you do have to pay for that. But let's move on, because we are done looking at Halo Infinite Multiplayer. So I'm buying it for free. So next up, Forza Horizon 5. To understand how much Forza Horizon, the series, has dominated racing, when you look at the most lists for best racing game ever made, Forza Horizon 5 is number 1. Number 2, if it allows repeats, is Forza Horizon 4. If on number 3, if it allows repeats, it's Forza Horizon 3. And then for number 4, Forza Motorsport 7. So you're getting the hint. Forza is amazing at this. Even if you don't allow repeats, it is number 1. It won Game of the Year, the first racing game to ever do so. This is absolutely a buy it. It is the best racing experience you will ever play. I do highly recommend all the Forza Horizons. And if you want more of an arcadey racer and you just want to have fun. As far as Forza Motorsport, those are great too, but that'll be for if I ever run one of those on this channel. And so either way, this is an absolute buy it. You don't win Game of the Year for nothing. Buy it. Okay, next up, The Gunk. The Gunk kind of reminds me of Omno, except it has a little more action. There is some combat in The Gunk, but it is more of a relaxing exploration game with a cute little story. I'm going to say The Gunk is a play it. It is not a buy it for me. It is definitely not a skip it. It is definitely a play it. If I've got it, it's available. I want to play, just explore, and have a little bit of fun. Absolutely play that thing. Next up, hey, how did you get here? Halo Infinite single player. This is the one that you have the option to buy, or you can just play it on Game Pass. So, the single player campaign. The problem with Halo 5, which was the last Halo game before this one, was the single player campaign. Because the multiplayer was really, really good, but the single player fell flat. Unfortunately, the one before that, Halo 4, wasn't, it was good, but it wasn't nearly as good as the previous games. So we kind of had a little bit of a downer with Halo 4. We had a big downer with Halo 5, specifically the plot. For me, if you were to ask, my favorite Halo single-player campaign is Halo Reach. I think it is the best gameplay-wise, story-wise. If not that, Halo 3. It is a tough choice between those two for me. That being said, I think Halo Infinite is just as good. Or at least it's darn close. Halo Infinite single-player has brought Halo back. The multiplayer, I already said, is just ridiculously fun. The single-player has brought Halo back to being the premier first-person shooter out there. So I have to give Halo Infinite a buy it. Like, that story was so good. It was fun. The only issue it had was cleaning up the mess from Halo 5. But having the open world was beautifully and wonderfully done. Absolutely. The gameplay is just absolutely addictive. Halo Infinite, put it in your collection. Alright, next. Phoenix Point. This is an XCOM style game, and I kind of like XCOM style games. But it's more of like an indie attempt to like emulate XCOM, and it does a pretty darn good job. I'm going to give Phoenix Point a play it. I don't know about buy it for sure. I think that for me, I'm right on the fence. I haven't actually purchased it yet, but you know what? Take that back. I might actually have it on PC. Whatever though. I still give it a play as far as Game Pass goes. Next up, Rainbow Six Extraction. The co-op alien killing Rainbow Six no one asked for. That being said, I played the living crap out of this thing. It uses a lot of the operators from Rainbow Six Siege, which we all know, started off really rough, but turned into like a juggernaut of a game. And you get to use those same operators, but in a completely different environment, in a different situation. It is a pretty high, it's a difficult game. You can go in and set the difficulty for the areas, especially, I play solo a lot, and it's a lot. You gotta be super careful. But I've really enjoyed it. I like the pressure. I like the tense nature of those games. Even if I'm taking a level 10 character into an easy area, I sometimes still lose, which I really like that. So I'm giving this a buy it. I really think this game is worth purchasing. It's fantastic, especially if you want to play with friends. Alright, next up, we are getting close to the end here. The Forgotten City. Believe it or not, this was a mod for, I believe, Oblivion? Skyrim? One of those. And then they made it its own game. It's a first-person adventure game, sort of. You do a lot of conversations and talking and stuff. But it has a really good story. It's really unique. It's just a great game. This is a complete play it. Give it a shot. You might like it. You'll get wrapped up in the story and you won't want to leave. Okay, next up, probably a candidate for Game of the Year. I'm kidding. I Am Fish. So I Am Fish is the sequel to the I Am Bread. And this does take place in the I Am Bread universe. Who knew that was a thing? Basically, you control a fish in an aquarium, which apparently it doesn't have a flat bottom to it because some moron decided that was a good idea. And you're rolling around trying to escape to the ocean and stuff. But even the slightest thing, you fall off and it breaks and you die, right? The controls are clunky and difficult. Remember when I mentioned earlier about Surgeon Simulator 2, and there's a fine line between frustration that's fun and frustration that is annoying till you just delete it? This is frustration that's fun. I think I Am Fish was a blast. I really enjoyed it. I'm giving it a play it. I don't think it's the kind of thing I would purchase personally, but if you like stupid games and like to play and laugh at that sort of thing, then it might be a buy it for you. But for me, it's a play it. Next up, Gears Tactics. So I mentioned earlier with Phoenix Point, the attempt at creating XCOM games and being like XCOM and emulating XCOM, and how Phoenix Point tried and did a pretty good job. Gears Tactics tried and did it really well. And to be honest, Gears of War is a franchise that really does lend itself to this type of gameplay. The fact this didn't happen already was surprising. Gears Tactics, I couldn't put it down. It's got the looter elements to it, where your characters evolve and improve. It's difficult at times, depending on the mission type and the type of characters you bring in. Gears Tactics is a complete buy it. If you're a fan of Gears, buy it. If you're a fan of XCOM, buy it. If you're a fan of both, don't buy it twice. That would be weird. So let's go on to the next one. We are getting close. Tunic. So this was exclusive, but it was a timed exclusive. It is coming to PlayStation, I believe, in 2023? Or is it late 2022? Either way, this game is kind of like if Zelda and Dark Souls decided to be the same game. It's cute and adorable and has the level design kind of thing of a Zelda type game, or even some Metroidvania going on. But it also has the difficulty and challenge of a Dark Souls or an Elden Ring. Tunic for me is an absolute buy it. We haven't had Games of the Year yet for this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is nominated. It is so good. So Tunic, put it in your collection, and it's not even expensive. So next game, Project Wingman. Project Wingman is a flight game, right, where you're a fighter pilot flying around. There's quite a few of these out there, a few franchise. I tried this game, and played through it, and I got to be honest with you, the control scheme was a little awkward, and it isn't even the flight controls thing. Like, I don't mind flight style controls when I'm actually flying something. It's the rest of the time I don't like them. This game just didn't do it for me. I got to be honest with you. I feel like Project Wingman's a skip it. The storytelling is just like a static, moving diagram to tell you what you have to do, and then boom, you're playing. It looks okay. It plays meh, and then you go to another really boring screen of little triangles moving around. It's just not worth it. Skip it. So next up, MLB The Show 22. MLB The Show used to be a PlayStation exclusive. It is still made by Sony, but now it's on everything because Major League Baseball didn't want to be out all that money because that would be really stupid. So MLB The Show, the issue I had when I played it is the sound wasn't working all the time. Certain things were not coming in audio-wise, certain things were. That being said, though, I still really enjoyed it. I made my guy Chunk McBiggins and started going through my minor league career. I feel like this is an absolute play it. If for some, it may be a buy it. If you're a huge baseball fan, it is the best baseball game on the market, period. But then again, MLB The Show is always the best baseball game on the market, period. So, but I'm going to give this one a play it. Okay, we are only 3 games away, so let's take a look at the next one. Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. So, after Marvel's Avengers, this game comes along, and we also, of course, had Marvel Spider-Man. Marvel Spider-Man was a really good, let's go with great game. It's not like one of the best games ever. It's not even one of the best of its generation, but it's a great game. And the year it came out, it was definitely one of the best games that year. Then Marvel Avengers was pretty much the opposite of that. It was probably the worst game ever. So where does Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy land? For me, kind of in between. But Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy, for me, is still a play it. It was fun. I did get stuck in my playthrough, and I couldn't figure out how to progress. And that was probably just me, so I'm not going to judge it based on that. But this game was much better than Avengers was. Didn't quite reach Spider-Man levels. If Spider-Man falls into the 8 to 9 range, I would put this one at a solid 7.5 to 8. But considering Avengers was more in the 5 range for me, then that tells you where you are there. So I think you'd like Guardians of the Galaxy. So I would say play it. 2 left. Trek to Yomi. So Trek to Yomi is a side-scrolling fighting game. The combat is not super difficult. Once you learn it, it's not that bad. Honestly, it might be a little oversimplified, I guess, depending on what you're looking for. Visually, the game is just unbelievable. It is inspired by Kurosawa films, and the game is designed from the ground up to be in black and white, which is why it looks so much better than Ghost of Tsushima does in Kurosawa mode, because that was not designed to be in black and white. It was designed to be in color, and it just puts a grayscale filter on it. This is designed to be black and white, and it is beautiful. The gameplay is good, not great, but it is good. The story is great, and the experience it's beautiful and amazing. This, for me, is a buy. Trek to Yomi is a buy because it is an experience game. It's one of those, hey, you need to check this thing out, dude, kind of game, right? So Trek to Yomi, put it in your collection. One game left. Aliens Fireteam Elite. I was so wanting this game to be good. After Aliens Colonial Marines and the dumpster fire that was that, we had Alien in Isolation, but bear in mind that's Alien, singular, not aliens. So it's more of a tense horror style, survival horror kind of game. Aliens Fireteam Elite is a third-person over-the-shoulder shooter. It's really fun with, if you have friends playing with you, but it's even fun solo, even though the bots are kind of incompetent when you get above, like, basic levels of difficulty. Overall, I'm going to give Aliens Fireteam Elite, even though I've played it quite a bit, a play it. I'm not going to give it a buy it. I'm going to give it a play it. It is the best Aliens game. It is not the best Alien game by any stretch, but Aliens, it is the best. And it's not that expensive. It's a good game. I suggest you play it. I think you'll enjoy it. So, let's take a look at our totals so far. And I'm surprised by this. We've had 6 skip-its. You'd think with these things being free, how many of these should be skip-its, really? I mean, like, I looked at 41 games here so far, I believe, if I'm doing the math right, and 6 of them are just complete duds, right? I'm really surprised that number is that high. Buy-its are 18. Buy-its. I didn't expect that number to go above 10, and we're at 18. So they've done a really good job there for me. Now, in fairness, Halo Infinite's a bit of a cheat, but whatever. And then the last one, Play It, is 17. That's where I expect the majority of these to be. Once I hit to like 50 games, I wonder where these numbers will fall. I'm willing to bet Buy It and Skip It will start to balance out a little bit. That being said, it kind of makes sense. There's an automatic built-in bias when I'm playing something. I'm probably going to pick something that is going to be in a genre I enjoy, right? So, or a franchise I already enjoy. So the skip-its seem to be, they're going to be few and far between, honestly, based on the natural bias of what you play, unless I intentionally go out of my way to play something bad. I would love to take recommendations of, hey, this is on Game Pass, play it, and I want to hear what you think. But right now, that's where we are on the numbers. So, from this point on, with every episode, I will give you skip it, buy it, or play it at the end of every video to let you know where we stand. Okay? So, I hope you enjoyed this. This is not a traditional video. I tried so hard to put my picture on this thing somewhere, and it just did not work out. So, I'm just gonna go back to the beginning. But I hope you enjoyed looking at what these were. Go back and check out the videos if you want to see my actual gameplay of them, to see where I got my rating from. I upload videos of Game Pass Passport every Saturday, and have been doing so for a little over a year now. So, and I'm gonna keep doing it as long as I have stuff on Game Pass to play that I haven't played yet. So, check it out. I also upload on Mondays my walkthrough of the Dark Souls franchise. I'm about to finish Dark Souls 2 now. On Wednesdays, I upload my playthrough of the Bioshock franchise. I am about to finish Bioshock Infinite's main campaign. I'm getting close. I still have some DLC for that one. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays is Mass Effect, the complete Mass Effect trilogy. I just recently started Mass Effect 3. So, check those out. Also on Fridays, it's either an episode of Back Catalog, which is a completely random game I just pulled from my collection to play and have fun with, or Beta Test, where I let you see betas, demos, game previews, early access, alphas, tech tests, things that I do because I do a lot of beta testing for games and stuff. The ones that I don't have to sign an NDA for, or if the NDA is expired, I'll let you see some of that footage. So, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time on Game Pass Passport.